welcome back. This is another Snakes in the Grass. Interesting topic today that I wanted to talk about last week, but last week we did the 5 franchises I wanted to get into, maybe before the end of the year, but this week I just wanted to talk, about 5 franchises that perhaps you could say built what I love about games, built my attitude, or really started as a foundation for me for gaming. Before I talk about that though, I have to talk about, obviously you're going to see some similarity in the game because a lot of them I think you would say are Xbox 360 era, because really the Xbox 360 era was my era of gaming. Like, I think that Xbox 360 PS3 type era, I don't think we've really evolved beyond that in terms of gameplay, we've evolved in terms of graphics definitely, but in terms of the gameplay of those games in that time, there's only a few games I feel like can actually even actually innovate in terms of the actual gameplay you can do. Regardless of that, so 360 was my generation, so a lot of these will be 360 games, franchises that probably are less relevant today. So if you're younger, you might not know these games, but I might not even heard of these games. But before I move on, the reason why the Xbox 360 was as important to me as it was because of this period that I was really playing with cousins and all that stuff, where they would have their Xbox 360, I would go to their house and then play that, and then we would be like swapping controllers and all that stuff. That era of gaming where you see a game on a shelf, you pick up the box, you see the box, we just put it on the Xbox 360, we just start playing it, and if I die, he took the controller, he died, I take the controller, that kind of stuff. That really was a fun time. But the number 5, I would say, actually is the least impactful of the 5 games or franchises during the time I'm talking about, would be Halo. What I mean by that is it really wasn't that big in terms of I didn't play the whole campaign or really understand it at the time because I was too young, or I didn't play through it and the whole series at the time. During that time, it was just mechanics of the game, especially during that time. The shooting, is pure fun of it was unmatched, and especially one of those games that was good for swapping the controller back and forth. I died and then I passed the controller to him, and then it's one of those types of games. I think I played, I need to remember quickly, it might have been a few missions of Halo 3, an extremely fun time in my life. Number 4 would be, a lot of people wouldn't know, probably won't remember, and that is probably one of the first games that I played in terms of during that era of Xbox 360 with my cousin, is The Darkness. Now, The Darkness was a really unique shooter at the time for me. I felt it was one of those games that really stuck out to me. I really liked the concept of this guy having this monster being attached to this guy, and it was released in a time where Formula 4 or first person shooter really hadn't been fully established yet, I feel like. But now every shooter really feels the same in a kind of way, but this had an unconventional, and obviously now it hasn't probably aged as well, but it definitely is one of those games that I need to go back and revisit and beat that game, because I don't think I ever beat it. I think we got through the first few levels, we got to the street area, and then we just died over and over and over again. So it's definitely one of those games that's going to definitely be a Twittery Classics review that I do one day, just as closure, or I want to beat that game. Number 3 would be Hitman. Hitman, I feel like it's a franchise that's still relevant today in the minds of gamers. Definitely has lost, for me, a lot of its, you don't see people talking about Hitman. Maybe it's because one has not come out. I think the last one was Hitman 3 of the new games. I think that was 2021, so that's fairly recent, but still not a game people talk about in large part, I don't think. But I just love the concept, you being Agent 47, you walk in, you have this all these different ways, you need to find, identify, get the target, kill him or hide people in different ways, the different costumes. The 360 Hitmans as well at the time it's crazy to me that you could do this in a game and all this stuff, especially how young I was when I played it, but we'll leave that part out. Hitman was a big influence in what type of games I like. The next game in my list would be, we didn't play Fallout as a franchise that was that I played with my cousin, but it was definitely a game that for me it was less than number 1. We'll get to number 1, but it was definitely one of those games that it was one of those secondary moments of RPG. Fallout introduced me deeper in the idea of choice and consequence and different karma systems and all this kind of stuff, and you having an effect on the world, no matter how small or something it was, you being able to do a lot of stuff, you being able to choose to, okay, what can I do here? What can I need to build myself up. I need to become somebody who I could be an absolute terror in the wasteland, or I could be a good guy and helping people. Yeah, Fallout 3 in particular, that's why I just did the review. Go check that review out. There's a card up here just for that review, but that was very influential in how much I enjoy RPGs today. Number one, obviously, franchise would be Elder Scrolls. Now, I didn't play Elder Scrolls with my cousin, but it was definitely one of those games that I discovered by myself. And when I had my Xbox 360, because he had his before and we'd be playing on his one, but then he had to move, and then obviously I still wanted to play some games, so I bought my own, and I discovered Skyrim kind of organically through the internet. That was one of those games that it's crazy that game came out in 2011, that is still being played as much as it is today. I probably have 3,000 hours in Skyrim at this point. I know I at least have like 30,000 that documented, that I can go back and look how much hours I have. That really opened my eyes to the RPGs and all that kind of stuff. But those are the 5 games I just wanted to talk about in some kind of way. I want to kind of do this again with other games. Like, I want to do the one I did last week where I talk about another 5 I want to play, and then next week after that I talk about another 5, because there is a lot of franchises I could have talked about that we played, but some of those are a bit more obscure, some of those are a bit more out of the way. But in the meantime, I just wanted to say also, my next review is on the way. Next review will be Persona 3 Reload, and that will be on the way very soon to you guys. I've already recorded all the audio for it. Cutting up the audio is the longest part of it, and recording it is the second longest, so now it's just the point of me going ahead, cutting up the audio, getting the footage, all that stuff. I have the footage already, then putting it all together, so hopefully that will be done very, very soon, but maybe this week actually, but we'll see. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.